everybody. Welcome to the ZNC podcast. This is episode 5. Wow, 5 whole episodes. Pretty cool.
Wait, what's cool?
We're 5 episodes in, and we are doing pretty good. We have things planned for the future. We have things planned out. But yeah, this is the main host, Zect, and I am the co-host, the Chicken God. And today we are talking about
Don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. We're both co-hosts. The main host is the moon.
the moon guides us, or whatever Moon Knight says.
You forget my lore, don't you?
I know your lore. I just like quoting Marvel rival things.
Screw you.
But the moon is pretty nice. It protects the earth from like medias and stuff like that. Did you hear about that story about the media that has 20 like a 5% chance of hitting earth or something like that?
Yeah, I did hear about that. It was pretty scary.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's some scary shit. 2036, like that's
Yep.
what 11 more years. That's pretty scary to think about if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and who knows? It could take out all of California, people are saying.
Dude, if that thing hits, like extinction, mankind, gone, just like the dinosaurs.
When that thing hits, it hits. You know what I mean?
Dude, when it hit, it just hit, bro. It was so crazy.
But speaking about that scary event that may happen in the future, we're also gonna look to the past. I look at the scary things, and that will be today's topics. Scary encounters we've had in our personal lives.
And trust me, guys, growing up has been very scary in the places that I've been and the places that Zach's been. So, prepare to get to know us a little bit more through these little stories, our personalities, our reactions, our everything when it comes to scary events.
I mean, they weren't that scary.
I almost died.
Just deadpan.
And now I'm dead. I was dead the whole time throughout the thing. You're just not gonna say something?
I'm trying to formulate a plot here.
The plot is I died in my scary stories, and here I am dead on the podcast.
I'm just in shock. You're supposed to be a god. You're supposed to be the god of chickens.
Yeah. Starts being rabid.
But anyway, let's get to the more serious topics. What was the scariest encounter you've had? It could be anything you want. Scary story, a ghost, or somebody just plain trying to beat you up.
Wow. You're setting the scales pretty high here. Let me think. Well, I got a few scary stories up my sleeve. The first one I'm going to tell won't be about dying, I guess. But like the other ones I have will be a mix of like funny, real scary stories, stuff like that. But the first one I'm gonna tell is how I almost got ran over by a minivan. My friend got his bike stolen from a group of housing kids. So in our terms, we have the main like city that we live in, and then just like a mile out, there's a housing. Known for very bad things. Kind of like you don't want to be that type of thing. So these kids come from there to the town, steals my friend's bike, and then we went to go get it back. And as we were grabbing the bike, a like group of like 7 kids surrounded us and we're like, "Hey, we don't want no trouble. We just want our bike back." And they're like, "It's our bike. We bought it." Da 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 stuff like that. But they didn't know that we wrote down the VIN number for the bike. Like we had everything written down in the picture of the bike and everything. So we went to the bike, matched the VIN numbers, matched everything. So we got the bike and we are about to head out. When we hear honking, which I think is kind of stupid, if you're gonna like do something, do it. Don't give us a warning. He honked behind us, and this van was like going like 20 miles, 25, 20 miles an hour in an alleyway, and we had to jump to like hug the sides of the alley just to like avoid this van that was coming at us at supersonic speed. And
Supersonic speed, going 20
dude,
miles an hour.
dude, when you're 12 years old and you just hear the like the sonic noise go, dude, you gotta hug that wall, dude.
Why did you hear the sonic noise? What kind of
That car gotta
over
go fast.
imaginative? You gotta go fast.
I heard ka-chow, I am speed, and that vehicle that vehicle rolled down the alleyway, almost hitting us. Um we got the bike and we hightailed it out of there. It was a very scary situation going up in. I make fun of it now just because, like we went to go take a bike and almost got ran over and piled, but we made it out there scratch free, nothing bad happened to us. And it was just like it could have turned very bad. It was a very scary situation.
I get that. I get that.
How about you, Zach?
I'm just gonna tell a scary story that got passed down to my family about
Oh
one of
my
my
God.
great uncles.
No.
One of my great uncles, like my mom's brother. He and just so you know, I kind of believe in the supernatural, even though not as much as I used to back in the day. But I do believe that there are ghosts out there. There are things out there that don't want well for humanity. Now my great uncle, he was driving down this one side road out in the country, like a few hours from any towns. He got a flat tire. He went out and started changing the tire, and then all of a sudden he just heard a bloody murder scream, like a girl screaming at the top of her lungs, like she's about to die. And then he looks over, and there's just a semi. In his words, that there was a semi with nobody driving it, going just 100 miles an hour, goes right past him, and he jumps out of the way, and he almost died, like straight up almost died. He saw that the semi crashed. He quickly changed his tire and got out of there. And then he tells his mom, "Hey, I heard a bloody murder scream, and I am Native American. We do have these superstitions. I heard a bloody murder scream. Something happened, and my great grandma told him, don't go back to that area. That scream is telling you that is where you die. That is where you die. Don't do it." And then they looked up like a semi crash or whatnot, and there's nothing in the news about a semi crashing, nothing about anything about that semi going there. And then all of a sudden, on one dark day, it was raining, and he only knew the one way to go home was in that side road. He went through that side road, and next thing you know, the next day, there's a newspaper out where he died, being hit in a semi crash.
That is pretty scary. A banshee scream is nothing to mess around with at all.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we do have our superstitions for sure. Like a banshee scream, whistling at night,
Mm-hmm.
saying Wendigo, stuff like that. Very, very bad. I might die in the middle of this recording just from saying that word.
I doubt it.
Me too, me too.
You're the god of chickens.
I can't die, I'm a god!
You have any stories that could beat that?
Well, yours was about a random person. Mine was a self
Mine
experience.
is about my great uncle.
Yes, I could tell a story about me own mother.
How dare you tell me that that's a random story?
I'm not. No, I didn't say it was a random story. You said it's about a random guy. Like
It's
some.
not. He's not random.
I don't know. I didn't meet him. um. Yeah, my mom. So back home, we have a football field that is considered to be haunted. If you go to that football field at night, you could see shadows and you can see like things walking around. Very like this is a ghost story for everybody. Um, The football field was always fenced off. It was right next to the high school, and they would close the doors so no kids would go inside of it because of these spirits that would walk around. One day, my mom and her other siblings, about four of them, went into the uh, football field because they wanted to check out like these scary stories because they're just scary at the end of the day type of thing. So they went there to like debunk or to look at it, whatever they did to do. And
Mm-hmm.
when they were inside the football field standing around, and they were like, "Oh, we don't see nothing, we don't hear nothing. Maybe you have to chant something to call them out, kind of like how you have to say Bloody Mary 3 times or the Candy Man, stuff like that." Nothing happened for a little bit. And my uncle's like, "Well, let's go down to the farthest end of the football field. That's like and a little bit of context. So at the edge of the football field, couple like feet, there's a baseball diamond, and then for miles there's nothing behind it. There's like little woods back there, and as they were walking to the edge of the football field, they swear up and down that they saw these spirits and shadows coming towards them from that same end. So they started freaking out. And as they turned around to run away, they noticed that at the sides of the football field, they could hear like a kid laughing, like taunting them. So they ran, and by the time they got to the edge of the fence and they had to climb over to jump over, my uncle said that he felt somebody grab his like ankle before he even made it across, and he ended up ripping his jeans because the way that he described it was it pulled on him, and he ripped his jeans from the fence. And then they go back home. They tell my grandma and grandpa, and even they were like, "Why you guys stupid? Why'd you guys go out there? Like this, that, and the other." Like kind of yelling at the kids for going to a haunted spot at like midnight, like 11 at night. It's very crazy. We have a lot of ghost stories in our town.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially considering the town that we're from has
Mm-hmm.
one of the most haunted places in the U.S. We're not going to say what it is, and a lot of people I know people saying that they drive by it quite a bit because it is kind of it's not out of the way. A lot of people do drive by it to go home, and so many different people talk about how they seen ghosts looking out from them inside the place, but who knows if that's like actually ghosts or if it's just like people who just got curious
Mm-hmm.
and went
Cause
there.
yeah, cause there was this abandoned building. I don't want to go into specifics because but this is abandoned building that's 2 miles outside of the house that is completely haunted. It has a couple buildings connected to it, and I wonder how many stories of people just going there exploring, and then there's another group doing the same thing, and I wonder if they thought each other were ghosts.
Uh, But then it doesn't help that that all the buildings are connected by a tunnel.
Yes, that's a scary story I wanted to tell in the future. How I almost died in those tunnels. I mean, I could tell it now, I guess, since we're already talking about
We
it.
used to go cave diving
Dude, I went splunking. I was knees deep in that tunnel.
in in still water.
Yes, and the air pollution and particles in the
Yep,
air, like you only
the
could go down
asbestos.
so far before you need a gas mask, and even with the gas mask or like something to purify the air, you still need something stronger to keep going into those tunnels because of how bad it is.
I still remember people went in there and actually like propped up the building a bit because if I remember recall correctly, if that building were ever to collapse, all the chemicals in that building would go out into the air and pollute the town.
Yeah, the town itself signed a petition to like deconstruct it, to like tear down. um but the construction people that made it were like, you do that, nobody's living in this town for at least 7 years. Like that's the bare minimum, and even after that it could still be causing health issues, problems like that. So the building stayed up there for so long because they can't take it down. I mean, they could take it down brick by brick, but like, who wants to do
and and,
that?
and it used to be such a good looking place too, because I saw a picture of the place, and it before it became abandoned, and it looked really nice.
Yeah.
And so it was probably my turn for a story, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, so this is one of the scarier stories that I got that happened to me personally. So this was back when I was like 13, 14 years old. My mom and her cousin decides it'd be a great day to go ghost hunting with us and our kids. And so they brought us to like a bunch of different haunted places or abandoned places, and they're just doing the regular things of like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And just and with a camcorder going around, hey, how you guys doing? What's going on? Um, did you guys die here? You know, the regular questions. And me being
Yeah.
and me being energetic young boy, being like, hey, let me do that. Give me the camera. I'll start recording it. So I start recording. I start having fun, just saying random words. Whoop de doo, da da doo, and then all of a sudden we go back inside the van. I wasn't inside the van at the time. I was still inside the house. I was still inside the abandoned house. My mom and her cousin decided it's gonna be a good time to go back to a van because we had a minivan. They go back to the van,
You almost ran
start
me over. I'm joking for cutting you off, but yeah.
so they decide to start listening to the recordings. I myself was still exploring this house. There's a two-floor house. There's a second floor, and then there was an attic. We never went into the attic. I decided it'd be fun because I was having fun. I did not realize what was going on. I went upstairs, and then I found this comically large shoe. The shoe was like a 13, 14-inch shoe. It was a red shoe, and it was in pristine condition. And I just remember it being like in pristine condition. And I grab it, and it was a pair of shoes. I grabbed it by the laces that connected them. I went up into the window. He yelled out while holding shoes, be like, "Hey, look at what I found! I found!" And I looked down, and I just remember seeing my mom and her cousin just scared, just terrified, and then they were yelling at me to put the shoes back. They were yelling at me to do this, come back to the van, and then I come back to the van, and they just drive off just as quickly as they could. They get out of
Jesus.
there, and then as they were listening to the recordings, it was just radio silent. Everything was radio silent while they were doing questionings and whatnot until I got the phone. And whenever I got the phone, all of a sudden there's been like nothing but static every time I talk. Like every time I talk, there was static. Like you could hear somebody talking in the background, like responding to what I'm saying, but they couldn't make out what the words what it was. And then until I asked something like, if I recall correctly, I asked, "Hey, what about your future? What are you thinking about?" And then they told me, "I don't know, but can you survive tonight?" And then
Pretty scary.
and then afterwards, whereas they took a picture of me because my mom's cousin, my second cousin,
Mm-hmm.
it just whenever I had the shoes and held them outside the window, my mom was terrified. She was dumbfounded, but my mom's cousin decided I'm gonna take a picture of him. And then whenever she took a picture of me, they saw a guy who was like 9 foot tall with his hand on my shoulder behind me. For when we were assuming it's the owner of the shoes, and my mom's cousin's like, "We're getting out of here.
I
We're
would
leaving."
run as well.
And and that night, after that, because that was like the first place we went to, and that night was filled with supernatural stories, which I will tell throughout the podcast. I'll just let you. So, what do you think about that story?
That was a that's pretty. I mean, I've been to a lot of haunted houses too. Like it's for sure a scary story. Um, I don't think I've experienced like one of those. I experienced a lot with ghosts. Just I don't think that's it's interesting.
Yeah, we've had a lot of different types of stories, or like that whole night was just supernatural, weird shit going on.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear all the other stories you have lined up for today.
So do you have any other stories you'd like to share before I continue?
In my house, I was maybe 8 years old at this time, maybe nine. Uh, Playing the PS2. I was playing Shrek, and I was listening to Over and Over Again by Nelly and Tim McGraw. Playing that level where your donkey flying through the woods. Like I have this, it's vivid. This is a vivid memory, dude. I was playing Shrek, kept dying and dying on this part where your donkey flying through the woods, and the song was like over and over again. And then my auntie comes into the house, and she asked my mom, "Hey, let's go drinking. Let's go drinking." My mom said, "No, I can't. I have nobody to watch the kids, and I work tomorrow. Like I can't drink tonight." And my auntie was like, "Come on, you never drink, you never have fun, you never do this, you never do that." Like kind of like nagging my mom to go and drink. And after 5 minutes, the cupboard flew open, and a cup flew at my auntie. And like my auntie goes, "Okay, I understand now. You have a good day. I'm gonna go drink with somebody else." And then my auntie walked away. And when my auntie closed the door, my mom just looks at me and goes, "See, ghosts are pretty friendly." Even though they broke one of our cups to like stop my
Yeah.
mom from being peer pressured into drinking, I guess. I don't know.
Hmm.
It was funny.
I don't know how to respond to that. I never I never really seen like a happy ghost.
Oh, trust me, I have a lot. I have a lot of ghost stories. Where it's me talking to ghosts, and I was sleeping. I was sleepwalking, but I was actively talking and responding to a ghost. Um, I have stories of like evil ghosts, ghosts at that abandoned building, stuff like that. Like a lot of ghosts, man. I met a lot.
I get it. And so around and so continuing on with my story from earlier. So by the time we got out of that house, out of that abandoned house, it was getting really dark. I mean, like really dark. And so my mom and their cousins just didn't have enough fill of scary situations. They did not have enough fill after hearing all that stuff and whatnot.
Hmm.
We started driving. They decided to go to an abandoned town nearby. They decided to go to an abandoned town to go check that out. And for some reason, as we were getting closer, we were listening to music, just getting closer and closer and closer. All of a sudden, the music in the van just cut off. The music in the van just cut off. We didn't hear anything, and all of a sudden we just hear a loud scream. Not like a banshee, it was like a man's voice just screaming out in the field. And then as we continue going, we get a phone call from our grand no, from my mom's mom, my grandma. And for a little bit of context here, our my grandma likes to think she's a part of a coven. She thinks she's a witch.
Jesus.
She she believes she can curse and hex you, and that you will get to actually curse. She believes she can kill somebody by cursing them, and so she decides, hey, and all of a sudden we just got a phone call. My mom got a phone call on her phone from our grandma. No, from my grandma. Thing is, my mom's phone did not have any minutes on it. She did not have any service on it. It was never turned on. And her battery was dead. All of a sudden, she looks down and her phone, the whose battery was dead, was just turned on. Got a phone call from my grandma. We She answers the phone call, puts it on speakerphone, and I just hear my grandma just straight up all pissed, being like, "The fuck are you doing here?" turn around now. And after we heard that, we turned around and left. And then we decided to go and pay a visit to my grandma. My grandma, she's an alcoholic. She's a plain to God alcoholic. We show up and she's already drunk.
Yeah.
she's she's drunk. She's drinking, and my mom decided to ask her, being like, "Hey, what's going on? Why'd you call me? Call me?" And my grandma's like, "I didn't give you a phone call. I didn't do that. Why the fuck would I call you?
What do you mean?
Call you?" And then my mom told her where we were going, and my grandma's like, "Oh, I see. So the hex I put on you to save your life once got used up. You would have died there. That ghost would have killed you." And that's what she said. Said my hex on you saved you from dying in that place. We are surrounded by demons and ghosts.
Hmm.
There's even a ghost in this house. How she said, and she looked at the bathroom. She looked at the bathroom. Watch, I'll show you. Close that door. And then all of a sudden the bathroom door just slams it really fucking hard shut. I just we don't know who yelled inside that field, and we don't know how my mom got that phone call. It just happened out of nowhere, and my mom just acted fast.
Yeah. I don't think there's much you can do after hearing like a guy yell off in the distance.
Mhm.
I'd leave.
Especially if you got like a phone call from a phone that doesn't have any minutes on it.
Yeah. One time, me and my buddy were driving down the road, listening to
Oh, I
music,
know
just
this one.
vibing. Just listening to music, vibing. We're just driving around, and we go down this road, and it's a dirt road, back roads, trees on both sides. It like nothing but trees. Like there was nothing but trees around us. And the more we kept driving, and the more the song played, the more and more we both felt like we were being watched. It felt like time was moving slower. The trees looked like they were coming closer. Like a whole bunch of things were going on, and we just felt like we got washed over this feeling of like we gotta leave or we're going to die here. And it was like we both felt it because like we looked at each other and he goes, "Leave." I'm like, "Yup." so so we hightailed it out of there, not knowing where we were. And then the next day we went driving to like try to like go back, and we couldn't find it. Like we just could not find that same back road, even though we traced our steps.
No, I know the story.
I
I
was
was
there
there.
too. Yeah, you was there too.
We went down the same exact roads we were before, and it just there was a turn we took that night that was not there. There was no turn there. We went down the same exact road where it's like a T intersection, and instead of being a T intersection, it just turned left. It was just a 90-degree turn left. There was no turn right.
Yeah, and we couldn't find the same dirt road that we went down because we went down every dirt road down that way, and we just couldn't find that one.
And I remember it pretty pretty well because I was driving there, and it was so like there's trees up along the trail. I couldn't turn around. I had to back up, and as I was backing up, it still felt like the trees were getting closer and closer.
Yeah, and there was no houses, no. It was just a straight road, like straight, no turns, no nothing. Yeah, it was
Hmm.
crazy. Um, that same week, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Me and Zect, we went to the local creek, however you want to say it.
For, for,
Um,
for, for those of for those of you who aren't from the res, a creek is like a
I'm pretty sure
little
that's just the
body of
name
water.
of it.
It's is it?
I'm pretty sure that's just the name of it.
I've always thought a creek was just like a little body of water, like a river, because I've been calling a lot of small little rivers a creek
Yeah,
or
a
like a
creek
creek.
is a stream, brook, or minor tribute of water. So and
Yep.
the pictures show basically what we have back home. So that is
Yeah.
the technical word for it,
Yeah.
also known as a stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went to this creek and or creek, however you want to say it. Uh, and Zect was like, "Yeah, dude, we're gonna go there." You know what? You want to say it since this is our story? You just voice act your own voice, man.
Yeah. You want to go there? We'll go down there and we'll have fun. We'll check out the creek. Go up and down the creek. See what it's all about.
And as we were going there, Zach kept being like, "It's haunted." Like there's this lady that will like drag you to the bottom of the creek and drown you because of how she died and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we go there. We were standing there for like 5-10 minutes. Nothing. Nothing.
Yep. Nothing.
And I was like,
We
buddy, you're
were
lying to me.
we were touching the water and everything.
We were walking around. We were at the spot that was supposed to be the most haunted spot, like stuff like that. And like nothing was happening. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to the car. There's nothing here,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. As soon as me and him both sat down in the car and turned it on, we hear a lady behind us. Like it came from the back seat. And she was like, "Help me, help me."
I'm drowning.
Yeah, help me, I'm drowning. And Zach looked at me and he goes, "Nope." And we booked it. We drove maybe 2.5. Mind you, this is 2:30 ish in the morning. So like,
Mm-hmm.
just so people know, it's 2:30 in the morning, and we drive 2 blocks down. And at this point, we're nowhere close to the creek. We're in a safe area, and still in the backseat of our car, we heard, "I said, turn around and help me! I'm drowning!" And like us hearing that, he was driving. I turned around, nobody in our back seat, nothing. And Zach goes, "Told you it was haunted." Looks at me straight in the face and goes, "Told you it was haunted."
Yeah, I remember that. That was in the same week. That was right before the dirt road
Yeah,
incidents.
I knew it was in the same
Be-
week. I just didn't know when it came.
it was like right before because afterwards we were scared. We didn't want to go home. We just wanted to drive around, have fun, and
Yeah,
shoot
and
the
then
shit.
and then that's when we went to the forest. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, next thing we know, we're driving somewhere where we don't want to be.
Yeah. Had to get out of there super fast. So fast. Another scary story that has to do with a ghost, and this was without Zect. Uh Me, my mom, and my stepdad we went by the abandoned building, because right next to that abandoned building is a little like housing place. Whole bunch of people live there and stuff like that. We went up there to go sell my Xbox One at the time. This was back in like 2013, 2014. I was getting rid of my Xbox One because I had an Xbox One X or something like that. And this was at like 10 in the morning. We went to go.
Who wakes up at 10 in the morning and goes, "I'm
Oh,
gonna
my
sell
bad. I
me an
meant.
Xbox today."
I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning thinking that, but I meant to say 10 p.m. This is 10 at
I
night,
mean,
dude.
who wakes up right at 10 be like, the Xbox is going away today.
Who said I woke up at 10? I woke up at 7. I was like, me Xbox is going away today. It just had to wait till 10 in the morning. No, I meant to say 10 p.m. Sorry, guys. It was roughly around 10 p.m. We were driving, and as we were leaving, because like I got the money, we gave them the Xbox, I factory resetted it. We were leaving, and I was looking at the abandoned building on the third floor. I'm like, I see people in the windows. Obviously, like I could see them plain as day. But I thought somebody was just exploring. Like, oh, people are just going up there to go up there. And I know the car stopped. It stalled in front of the building, completely stalled. And I looked back at the building, and every window had two people standing in it. And my stepdad, who had like a torchlight, like a really good flashlight, turned it on, pointed at the building. We couldn't see nothing. Like the people that were there were gone. And then whenever we turn off the light, they were there again, just like peeking on the corner. So we started getting like scared and worried and stuff like that. And my mom could not, like, the car just would not start. It kept bogging. It kept like just wouldn't start. And we all felt like this wave of we're being watched, stuff like that. And like, you know how like you could hear your heart like beating because of like how scared you
Hmm.
are and stuff like that. My heart was beating so fast and so hard. I was hearing it, and my mom and them, and like we couldn't start the car. And my stepdad was like, "Hey, start the car! Hey, hey!" You know, like I'm getting freaked out. You should start the car. And then a vehicle down the road was coming. Like we saw headlights, and as soon as the vehicle pulled, like headlights were in front of us, the vehicle started. We turned. I turned around. There was nobody, no like person I could see in the windows. And then the car started, and we just drove home. And my mom was like, "We're not going there at night again." Like after that, we were in and out of that area at the latest 5 p.m. After 5 p.m.,
I
we didn't want to go up there.
Yeah, that place, as I said, it is very haunted. But at the same time, I have it with skepticism because I was just for some Zek lore. I was homeless for 2 years. I lived at that haunted place for months.
Mm-hmm.
When I didn't live there, it was scarier than hell. The ghost events happened. But whenever I lived there for a bit, I don't really see it as scary anymore.
Yeah,
I lived amongst the ghosts.
you and the ghost
I'm,
became best friends.
nah, I just needed a place to sleep and I didn't want people bothering me.
Fair enough.
I was in a bad situation. The ghosts were like, fuck this guy.
I'm
He,
sleeping
he
here
does.
tonight.
He doesn't need to be scared. He already has a scary situation.
Yeah, they're like, nah. We saw him here for like a week straight. He's obviously not scared.
I'm joking. I'm joking. And so another situation to that happened in the same night. After we talked to my grandma for a bit, my mom's like, "Yeah, let's just go home. Let's just go home." And so we were on our way home because my mom was kind of sick and tired of ghost events that happened that day, and we just wanted to go home. And it was like late at night, like midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we were driving home, we saw a semi, just like a broken down semi. And my mom decides to be like, "Hey, let me just stop and see this one guy." So she stops, yells after him, "Hey, you need any help? You need any help?" And this guy has his hoodie on. He has his hands inside his pockets. And then as he's getting closer and closer to the van, my mom's phone, which again doesn't have any service, starts getting phone calls left and right from my grandma, like over and over and over. And then the guy he was looking down, and then he looks up at us, and there was no face, nothing, like where his head would be, there was nothing, straight up,
Yeah.
nothing there. And my mom just like booked it home, and my mom's like, "This isn't," and my mom just screaming about how this isn't a haunted place, how this place isn't supposed to be haunted. There's no ghosts here. There's nothing. And so we just booked it home.
Yeah. I would also if it was supposed to be like that.
And then my mom, in her scared thing, being like, "Zach, what did you summon in that house?" Because that ghost did say, "I don't know about me, but will you be able to survive the night?" or something like that.
Yeah.
And this all happened in one night.
Still going off of that one night.
Yep, a lot of things
Jesus.
happened that night. Even back at home, there's scary events that happen at home.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I know that I have a lot of scary stories that doesn't even involve like ghosts. Scary stories encountering dogs and like stuff like that. I'm just trying to get all the ghost stories out of there before I talk about like the real life animal stuff.
Oh yeah, I get that. I get that.
Hmm.
And well, if we're trying to get the ghost stories out of it, I could finish that night out. So, whenever we got home, my mom and her cousin we're gonna sleep in the living room together on like that pull off couch. And I'm like out of my room, just like sleeping there, and I wasn't even asleep yet. I was just about to fall asleep. Next thing I hear, it's like people like I hear voices right outside my window talking about about my little brother, because about this time my little brother, my mom, she was not a very good person. She has a lot of kids, and a lot of my brothers don't know who their parents are. And
Hmm.
so as I'm just like sitting there, all I hear are these two voices talking to each other. One voice telling him not to do it, while another voice is it's like, I need to know if this is my son. I need to know if this is my person. No, my child. I get up. I walk out. I walk out to the living room. My mom's. It's because my mom's just scared. Something happened out in the living room. I don't know. All I know is that my mom's like, yeah, there's a ghost in here. Something's going on. What's going on? And then all of a sudden we just hear the doorknob just start rattling, and like like somebody banging on the door,
Hmm.
and me being stupid, and my mom not reacting fast enough. I open up the curtains and look out. No, nobody's in front of the door, but I could visibly see, or at least I believe I visibly saw the doorknob shaking, like turning and turning. But the doors,
Hmm.
but the doors locked, and my mom just quickly told me to close the curtains because Native American stuff, where you're not supposed to open up the curtains at night because ghosts can see you.
Yeah, there's a lot of Native American myths out there that I still believe in today that I dare not do.
Yep, because ghosts can see you sleep, and you don't want them seeing you sleep.
Hmm.
And these people, and as soon as I opened up the curtains, the door just started getting banged even louder, because my mom told me that the ghost, since it knew that we were there, it wanted it in even more. It
Yeah.
wanted it in even. And then I told my mom what I heard, and my mom's like, oh, he's here. I'm like, who is he? You don't need to know that, but why is he here? I'm like,
Side quest
who is he?
unlocked. Find out who he is.
Who is
Objective
him?
acquired. Yeah, objective acquired. Find out the mysterious man. Now you have to go through the lore of your family to find out who he is.
I know who he is now.
Oh, you already
It's just
completed
a
the quest.
guy. This was years ago. I was like 12, 14 years old. I asked
Oh,
my
okay.
mom about who, you know.
Hmm.
I asked my mom on who that guy was, and it was a guy my mom was leading on being like, I have your child, and when in reality my little brother was not his child. He he
SMH.
he he died in the ER because he had a heart attack, and he just really wanted to know if that was his real son, because he wanted to help out his son. And then another thing too, my great grandma. You actually met my great grandma
Yeah, I have.
before she unfortunately passed away. She
Yeah.
uh she also says she used to say she was cursed as a little kid. She used to say she was cursed as a little kid because her mom and her family decides, hey, let's go. Well, they didn't decide. They got a new house, and that old house used to have like a hay cover, because my great grandma's really really old. She was there for the Dust Bowl and everything, for the Great Depression. She was like 80, 90 years old by the time she
Yeah.
died.
Yeah. I remember
and
visiting your grandma with you every so often.
and so so as a little kid, she was like maybe 11, 12 years old. She went up she went up on top of the roof, just having fun, and then all of a sudden she finds this little patch of hair. She finds this little patch of hair, and she decided it'd be funny if she put the hair and like tied it around her butt and act like she was a horse. Until her mom saw it and realized that is a human scalp.
Wow.
That is a Native American human scalp.
Yeah.
and so her mom told her to get rid of it, put it back where it was, because that's another Native American superstition. If you mess with a
You mess
cursed
with,
object, or
yeah.
you got to put it back how it was when you found it. Got to leave,
Bones
you know.
themselves, even if you touch a bone without doing the proper saying thanks and stuff
Mhm.
like that, you're actively disturbing a grave. And even
Yep.
that alone is something like we take very seriously.
And then my great grandma told me that that night she went to bed, and as she was sleeping, she instantly woke up out of nowhere. She just woke up, couldn't move, and this old Native American chief, she said it was a chief. It's we don't know.
Yeah.
Chief walks up to her. He kneels on his knees. I gave her a mean look. He just like stared at her for like 5 minutes, and like disappeared before her eyes. And she says since then she was cursed. But a long time after that, her dad, her dad and her brother were on horses that somehow decided to be go crazy and drown them in the lake that was nearby their house.
Jeez, the horse drowned your.
Yeah, my great grandpa and my great grandma's brother.
Jesus, holy.
And then after that they moved.
If I drowned, I mean, fun fact, that's just a scary story I'm telling in the future. But if I drowned from an animal, I would be, yeah, no, you're not my animal no more. I don't want an animal like you ever again. A horse? Out of the question. I'm selling all my horses. there's this um there's this one time, since we're still on ghosts, I got two good ghost stories. Uh my mom left one day at, like, the grocery store back home. It closes at 7
Yep.
p.m. And this was middle of winter, so like it gets dark at like 4 o'clock. And my mom was like, I gotta go to the grocery store around like 6:30. And she was like, all we need is bread. Like, she's just gonna go there, buy bread, come home. That's all we needed.
Hmm.
And she took my stepdad, my brother, and my little sister, and she went. And I was the only one home because I was playing game in the back bedroom. I was playing some Nintendo 64. And Dr. Mario's addicting, dude.
I'm
um
not blaming you. I'm not blaming you.
so I was playing Dr. Mario when I heard the car start in the bedroom. So I was like, "Oh shoot, I want to go too." So I opened up the door. I was like, "Mom, mom!" And she like rolled down the window. She's like, "I'll be right back. Just go into the store." And I was maybe 10 at this time, maybe 11. And the grocery store, as you know, is a minute drive anywhere in town.
Hmm.
So like from where we lived, it was like a minute to get there, minute to go and grab bread, leave. My mom was home within 5 minutes. Like it wasn't like bad. But I was like, hold on, let me go with you. And I closed the door and I put on my shoes and then I opened it and I saw this black figure standing in front of the door. And when I looked, my mom was driving down the street. There's this black figure in front of the door. So I slammed the door and I was scared. I was like, "What the hell? What was that?" Like in front of me. And the door handle started like jiggling and like knocking on the door like aggressively. I was like, "Yo, like if this was my mom or my stepdad or an uncle or somebody, because it was like a tall figure, I was like, they would just walk in because, they're family." So this must be a ghost,
Hmm.
because even at 10, 11 years old, I knew not to answer the door. If the door opens, the curtains, like I knew all the stupid superstitions. So I ran to the bathroom and I hid under the sink because I was small enough to like open up the cabinet to go under the sink and just hide. And when I got halfway down the hallway, I heard the door bust open, and I felt a type of way. I don't know how to describe it, but I felt drained, I guess. Like I was like, "Fuck, dude, this is it."
Your energy is just gone.
Yeah.
You were resigned to your fates.
Yeah, I was like, this like I had no like energy to move. I had no thing. And I was like in the middle of the hallway. I was just standing there. I was like, no, I'm a hide. I'm a hide. So I walked up the coach to enter the bathroom, hide under the sink, and I could hear these footprints. And the footprints walked exactly to where I was. Like, it didn't walk around the house. It didn't go anywhere. It just went it beeline to me. Of like, I heard this footprint walking down the hallway, and all I hear was doo, 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 and it kept getting louder and louder. And it jiggled the bathroom door handle, and it opened it. And then a couple seconds later, I heard it walk up to me, doof, 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 getting louder. And it stopped. And I knew instantly it was in front of the cabinet that I was hiding in. I was so fucking scared. I was like, this is it. The cabinet's open. I'm dead. I'm gone. You know, that was the end.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then I heard honking. And then I hear nothing. It was completely quiet. 2 minutes go by. I'm under the sink, thinking to myself, like, fuck, what like who's honking outside? Like, what's going on? And my uncle opened the door because he saw somebody walking through the hallway window. And he was like, the back door's locked because we had the back door boarded up because you just couldn't leave through the back door. And my uncle's in the house. He was like, what's going on? I was like, somebody's here. Something like you saved me, my Lord and Savior. Ha ha ha. And he looked on the house and there was nobody in the house. And he was like, they couldn't leave through the back door because it was boarded up. So he checked the closets just in case. Cause like my auntie was outside in the car, he was inside. So if somebody left, she would have seen, you know? There was nobody inside the house, nothing. And my uncle saw it all. And he was like, yeah, I saw you standing in the hallway. So I thought it looked a bit weird. And then I saw you running. So, kids being kids, who knows?
Hmm.
So my uncle was doing dishes, and his house is right behind our house. So as he was doing dishes, he saw this black shadow walk across the window. So he was like, "That's not my sister because my sister, like he knows how he looks, obviously, and that's also not my stepdad." So he was like, "Get in the car," talking to his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, my auntie, and they pulled
Hmm.
up, honked, which must have scared the spirit away. And then when he entered the house, there was nothing, and it was scary. My mom came home like literally like 2 minutes later. My mom came home, and I explained what happened to my mom and my uncle, and my mom's like, "Ah, be quiet. That didn't happen. You're a kid. You don't know anything. Like your imagination, stuff like that. Because how kids are scared of the dark and stuff."
Hmm.
My uncle's like, "No, I saw it too. Like I saw a guy walking in your house. That's why I'm here because I wanted to check up on it." So everybody was like searching this house. Everybody was searching the house up and down. We looked under the beds, in the closet. We looked in like niche areas where like nobody can fit, but we just wanted to make sure. And we couldn't find nobody. My auntie stayed outside with my stepdad, and nobody left. Nobody came in. Um, and the door is boarded from the outside, so like even inside the house, if you try to unlock the door, you still can't get out because of the way it's boarded.
Hmm.
So nobody knew what happened and all that. And my uncle was just like, "This is why you gotta be a good kid. You got these evil spirits after you." I'm like, "What? I am a good kid." Ha ha ha.
As you burn down a trailer.
Broke into a school, burned down a field. you
God
know,
damn it.
we could make that into a podcast. All the illegal things we've done in life. Uh, Another ghost story. Um, Me, I even looked this up. I looked this up because I guess it's a phenomenon on a lot of people have been seeing it. It's a
Is it the
tall,
Hat Man?
yeah, kinda. I don't think it's the Hat Man itself. It's like a guy wearing a trench coat, standing tall. I saw him with a hat one time, whatever. But a lot of people had the same experience where they would see this tall figure just watching them standing around. My family lived all on one road, and we had a nickname for it and everything because we all just lived on that road. And
Hmm.
I was walking to my grandma's house. I was like, "Hey, mom, I'm going to my grandma's just down the road. It's not even like a 30-second walk. Like that's how close I could get to my grandma's." So I leave the house middle of the night again during winter, so it's probably like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Middle of winter, it was just dark outside, and under the street light, I see this figure who's just watching me. He had like a hat on, trench coat. Like I can make out all the details except for who he was and what he is. And I kept walking down the road, and he just kept looking at me, and like he'd tone his body with me as I was walking. And I was like, that's kind of creepy. What the heck? And I walked to my grandma's house, and when I got to the porch, I turned around and he was gone. And when I only went to my grandma's house to get something, I forgot what it was, but I left my grandma's house like not even like 2 3 minutes later, and there was no footprints, no tracks, no nothing in the middle of winter, and it wasn't snowing, so like nothing could cover your tracks. So like I could see my tracks going back home.
Hmm.
So where he was standing, there was no footprints, no tracks, unless if somehow he covered it up super perfectly. And I couldn't figure out what the hell I saw. And then I saw it two other times. I saw it one time at a football game, which could have just been just a random guy. But like,
Almost like a dime a dozen. Almost everybody where we used to live has at least 6 or 7 different ghost stories that they could tell.
yeah. Um, Another scary story. And this one is probably the one that freaked me out the most growing up. My grandpa, he was bedridden. He wasn't able to leave the bed. He had like a disease, like a rare disease. So he was always inside, always left alone. Like he had people come to the house just to help him with stuff. And my grandma went to bingo with my mom, and so it was just my grandpa home. And my grandpa, he's a grown man. He could be home by himself. He was
Hmm.
fed and stuff. And one day, me and my cousin were walking to my grandpa's house, or my grandma's house, I guess I should say. And as we were walking to it, we saw this little girl looking through the window, and we only could see half of her face. She was white, long black hair. Her eyeball was like huge. She had like one huge eyeball. And me and my cousin stopped in our tracks, and we were like at the base of the ramp to get to the porch of the house. And my cousin's like, "You see that?" I was like, "Yeah, I see that. What the hell?" And so we didn't know who it was because my grandpa was supposed to be home alone. We go inside the house,
Hmm.
and my grandpa goes, "Oh, you guys are here. What are you guys doing here?" And my cousin goes, "Well, we came to check in on you to see if you need any like water, any food, anything else, because grandma's gonna be home in like 2 hours, so we want to make sure you're okay." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. You guys could leave now. You guys go home." Like he was trying to get us out of the house actively. And I was like, "Well, we saw somebody in the window." He's like, "You didn't see nobody. You didn't see nobody." Da 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 da. Like he seemed freaked out. So I've
Hmm.
seen
Hmm.
enough movies where it's like somebody has a gun, like somebody's like holding a gun to somebody and being like, "Say these things and get them out of here," type of thing.
Hmm.
We, my cousin went to the back bedroom, to the kitchen. I went to the living room and the bathrooms. Nobody was inside the house. There was nobody inside the house. I was like, "Who was that?" And my grandpa was like, "It was nobody. You guys are just seeing things and like trying to get us out of the house." And I was like, "Okay, well, do you need water or food?" And he said no. So we leave, and I told my grandma about that story, and I told my cousins. My grandma just kind of pushed it off like, oh, you're just saying things, kids these days. And my cousins, three other of my cousins were like, yeah, we saw the same thing. Um, my eldest cousin, he was like, I was sleeping in the living room when he woke up one night and she was standing in the hallway, and he went into my grandma's bedroom to be like, grandma, somebody's here. And my grandma didn't believe him, and my like there's been in that one trailer house, there's been 4 or 5 stories. Me and my cousin, my oldest cousin, and two of my female cousins all seeing the same woman one way, shape, or form. And every time we brought it up, my grandpa would get like, I guess not scared but cautious of how we spoke about her. And then my grandma would just outright deny us. Like you didn't see that. That didn't
Hmm.
happen. Well, my grandpa's like, what do you mean? Like trying to get questions from us.
Yeah, no, I've had like different types of stories. Oh, I one time went fishing with this one guy. I just remember him being a family friend. I don't remember who he was because I haven't talked to him in ever since I was like 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just kind of fucked off the face of the earth. He never talked to my family again. Maybe something happened. Maybe they had a falling out. He just didn't talk to us again. He just decided, fuck these guys, fuck Zach.
Zect, fuck you.
Said the fuck you family friend. He used to take me fishing a lot. He used to take me fishing like a lot, and I just don't know how to feel about it. I love fishing. I still love fishing, but I still don't know how to feel about this one day. We were going fishing like every other weekend. We went fishing, so it's just like a regular weekend. We were fishing on his boat, having fun, and then all of a sudden, it felt like the world around me just stopped. It's like time stopped. The waters weren't moving. Nothing was going on. I get up on the boat, and I'm just like looking around. Next thing I remember is like people grabbing my legs and dragging me into the water, and I'm just like being drugged further and further into the water, and I'm just like panicking, and then all of a sudden like reality started up again, and I was like pretty far underneath the water, and the family friend was spraying me out of the water
Mm-hmm.
as I'm like sitting there choking. He didn't have to do CPR, thankfully. That would have been traumatizing. and he tells me afterwards that for some reason I just got up and jumped into the water and just started sinking fast for like no reason. And but from my viewpoint, somebody grabbed my legs and dragged me down. I don't remember getting up and jumping. I just remember me like just standing up on the boat, and then hands raised coming out of the water, grabbing me and just dragging me down.
That would be fucking
But
terrifying.
but he told me that I got up and jumped out into the water, and that I willingly jumped into the water, and that I wouldn't listen to him whenever he was asking me what I was doing whenever I stood up.
One time I was 10 years old, and I was only 10 once. So this truly only happened to me one time. I was at the pool with my stepdad watching me, and it was me and my brother, and we went swimming. I forgot where or what led up to the point. We went swimming at a pool, and I forgot what we were doing, but we were hanging out with these like bigger kids who like, oh yeah, like swimming's cool, stuff like that. And we would, again, I was 10, my brother was 11, and we're just like swimming around, not knowing how to fully swim, but enough to like enjoy playing around in like the like 4 foot, 3 foot section of the pool. And these guys, these older kids, were like, "Oh, you guys could swim," and took us to like the 5 foot to 6 feet deep end of the pool. And I didn't know how to swim. I didn't know how to do nothing. I was like in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the pool, like gasping for air, and these guys were kind of like laughing at me, and I was like constantly like, "Guys, I can't swim. I can't swim." And they didn't do nothing, and I ended up drowning. And I was considered dead for legally. I was legally considered dead for like a couple of minutes. I'm pretty sure they said 10, but I'm not too sure because I was tired at the time and like dazed. And since then, I've had like a deep fear of like deep body waters. I could go into a creek, easy. I could go into a kiddie pool, a pool, easy. But as soon as the water gets like above my head and I can't touch the ground, I lose it now.
So no
And
hot tub podcast later.
no, hot tubs are nice because like I could easily just stand up in a podcast. I mean, a hot tub. If you guys want to see a hot tub live stream, I guess. Uh, give us what should we say? Like 50,000
50,000.
50 50,000 subscribers and we'll do a hot tub
Oh
stream
yes.
talking about things.
Just just get this episode up to 1 million views while you're at it.
Listen, I'm giving them a year. They have until 2026. January
Or
1st, 2026 to get us up to 50,000 subs. If we don't do it, we don't do it, obviously. But like, I got to make it challenging.
and you're saying 1 million views isn't challenging.
1 million views. It can be. Uh YouTube Shorts has kind of been pushing a lot of things. 1 million views would be awesome. It would be cool. That'd be like a milestone that we could celebrate. Yeah, we'll do a VR chat hot tub live podcast stream. You see that coffee table behind us? We'll switch that out with like a rental jacuzzi.
A rental jacuzzi, an inflatable jacuzzi.
A kiddie pool. I am the Chicken God. You can find me on Twitch at the photo below me. You can also find me on TikTok, also in the photo below me. Zect, you could do your stuff.
I am Zectorian on Twitch and Zectorian on YouTube. I hope to see you guys there. And if you guys have any topics you'd like to see us discuss, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments. We would love to talk about things that guys would love to hear.
Yeah, we would love to hear all the feedback. And if you guys had any scary stories, also leave it down in the comment section below. I'm looking forward to hearing the scary stories you guys have to tell.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and join our Patreon, our Subscribe Star, our Pixiv, our Fiverr, our MySpace account.